Welcome. In this video, we will discuss about the India Post Payment Bank, or in short what is called as IPPB. So these are the payment bank which is owned by the India Post. So these are payment banks owned by the India Post and which is actually considered as a way to reach the remote and hinterland of India. So India Post is actually very famous to provide the last miles or to the door service to the remote areas also. So the idea behind or the concept behind getting the Post Payment Bank is that this India Post could be realized to utilize and provide the banking services to the remote areas. So this is the concept, and we will understand in this videos about the various features of this bank, what it can do, what it cannot, and also we will discuss some of the challenges which will actually create a hurdle in its operation. So let's start. It is a public sector payment bank, so this is important. Just remember, it is a public sector, it is not a private sector bank. Like, for an example, the Geo, which already has a payment bank, that will be your private payment bank. So, this in IPB is the sixth payment bank in India. Just remember, this is a trivia information. You could recall it sometime that it is the sixth payment bank in India which got the license and which is a payment bank, and it is a public sector one. It is operated by India Post. As I mentioned earlier, that India Post is going to leverage its last mile service delivery to provide the banking services. It is set up under the Department of Post, which is under Ministry of Communication. So just remember, IPPB is actually under the aegis of Ministry of Communication. Just remember that part. 100% equity is owned by the Government of India. So it is entirely owned by the Government of India, and there is no private participation over here. It is 100% equity of the Government of India only. It is licensed under the Section 29 of the Banking Regulation Act of 1949. So just remember, Banking Regulation Act of 1945 is the one which gives RBI the power to regulate the various banks, and this particular bank is licensed under the Section 23. It is registered as public listed company under the Companies Act of 2013. So these are the basic information you should know while writing answer. This will really help you. What are the operations that it could actually do? So it could carry out almost all banking operations like accepting deposits. So it can accept the deposit, but it cannot go for giving loans and issuing credit card. So it cannot issue credit card, it cannot advance loan, it cannot issue checks also. So these are the limitation on the IPPB, that it cannot extend the loan. So there is a limitation. It could accept the deposit, but it cannot extend the loan. It cannot issue the credit card as well. So, or other thing that you need to know, that it is 100% equity of Government of India. So these are the basic detail of IPP that you could remember. Now let's move forward and see the other features or the exact services which would be provided by the IPPB. So it has been integrated with the Post Office Savings Bank. So you must have seen, like in your elders, you must have seen that National Savings Certificate was way to go. We also have Kisan Vikas Patra. All these things were part of the Post Office Savings Bank. And when you were reading your economy, you must have also read about the M3 and M2 and M1, all these, the broad money and narrow money, which include the component of the Post Office Savings Bank. So in that regard, this is important that it is now going to be integrated with this only, which means that if you have your NSC certificate, it will be integrated with the payment services as well. What are the features now? So it will accept deposit, but there is a limit. So it can only accept deposit up to rupees 1 lakh. You cannot go ahead and like go in single go. You can go to IPB and kind of deposit 3 lakhs or 10 lakh. That cannot happen. There is an upper limit. You can only deposit rupees 1 lakh. Then it offers remittances services, which is like very important. Like a lot of people receive remittances which are located in the rural areas, and they don't have much banking services or the last mile connectivity to the bank. So in that regard, this IPP is going to be a huge help for the people to receive the remittances. Mobile payment, transfer and purchases, so all these basic services, like you can provide the payments or through the mobile itself, so this will be available. ATM debit cards would be available. So I just mentioned in the previous slide that credit card can't be issued, so there can't be any credit cards which will be issued, but on the other hand debit card is something which will be provided. Then it will be net banking enabled. You can log into your portal of the IPPB and get a customer login ID and password, and you can do all the possible things that you generally do with the other banks. Then also third party fund transfer are also allowed, like you can transfer the money to any other bank also. So these are the various facilities which would be provided by IPPB. So if you actually look at it, these services are the one which is at the highlight, and these are mostly what is offered by the other banks also. Though there is a limit on accepting deposit, but it can accept deposit. It cannot do advanced loans. So you cannot apply for loans in IPPB. So this is the condition of various features and services which would be offered. Now let's go ahead and try to see what are the challenges in its implementation. So there is a data that it is estimated that about 18% of Indian population is served by the banking system. So which means a major part of our population is still not banked. So they are still not availing the services of bank, and that is something which is important for the goal of financial inclusion. So you must have known that we have the very famous scheme, by the flagship scheme of this government by the name of Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. So in that the financial inclusion is a major component, and if you look for it, the if the 18% is not being served by the banking system, it means that we need to do some effort. So this is the criteria, or this is the reason why IPPB could actually try to fill in the gaps where the commercial banks or scheduled commercial banks or even the regional rural banks are not able to reach. But there are also certain challenges. What are those? First of all, availability of good connectivity and network in remote areas. So we know on ground that electricity is a problem, and so is the internet connectivity. So how will you be able to avail all the facilities which is provided over the internet if there is no connectivity? The next challenge is the training of postmen and the other staff. So they have been delivering the post, and they have been working on the NSC, KVP, all these kind of things. Banking services require a different kind of expertise, and because of that, training them also becomes important. So these are the basic details that you should know about it. So if you have any doubt, feel free to drop a comment.